Hi friends, in this video we're going to do a poetry analysis and a reaction of Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, which I think is arguably one of the best songs, perhaps the best song of the 20th century. And for this song, I wanted to do something really special. So actually, we're going to bring in Socrates and we're going to talk about what is beautiful. We're going to create our own definition of what is beautiful, and we're going to use biology to understand also how we react to what is beautiful and tie it all in to the lyrics of this song and how the imagery of this song invokes in us the modern what is beautiful. So I really wanted to tie all this in and make it extra special. So first, let's go through the song so that we understand it. Well, there are a few interpretations to the song, as you would have to any song. There is the interpretation that you would have first time listening to it. There is the interpretation that the artist had intended. There's a little bit of an overlap. There's some accuracy. Most people, when they first hear it, there are signs, like they don't quite get it, but there is literal language, like when you cross the mountain and you look back, it's almost like a life lived. That resonates, and that is a universal idea. Everyone grapples with this existential issue, which makes the point that this song hits on a universal point and makes the song universally appealing and delivered in that way we all can identify. So let's actually look at the lyrics, because there are some personal moments for the author of this song in her life, but you know, when we first hear this, it resonates to our life. We identify with it in our life a little bit. So let's read it. And what I did, I actually highlighted in orange things that repeat, and I highlighted also in red also different things that repeat, because this song, when you hear it, it's very catchy. The reason it's very catchy is, well, one of the reasons is that there's a songwriting trick, hack, technique, you would maybe however you like to call it. Usually the thing that repeats in the song is a chorus, and that's the thing you remember. That's the most catchiest part of the song, and the songwriter knows to put the most catchiest melody there and repeat it so that the listener, after the song is over, the listener sort of has that in their mind and wants to listen again. That makes a song fun. In this song, there are two such spots. We'll see them when we go through the song. First, let's look at the lyrics. I took my love and I took it down. This is too hard to do, to believe it. Imagine you have love for anybody, romantic, non-romantic, and you take it down. This is, like, from the first line, existentially, most people can't do it. It's easy to say, so one of the hardest things to do emotionally, and that's the first line of the song. Like, wow, when you're listening to the song, it's almost impossible to fully think about it because it's actually a hard thing to think about. So second line comes in, I climbed the mountain and I turned around. Now this is easy to relate to for most people. We're all like living, moving forward, you know, dealing with this, what's going to happen, turn around. And then I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. This is just beautiful imagery, first of all. Not just snow-covered hills. The reflection, it almost invokes those picturesque pictures you see of beautiful destinations where you travel, and then till the landslide brought me down. You can interpret it in a bunch of ways, but you know, you kind of bring down, come back to reality in a sense. And then there's that first verse, the story. And the story is very existential, and it's very asking a lot of questions. Oh, mirror in the sky. What is that? What a beautiful image, mirror in the sky. It's almost invokes the beauty of how Moon River is written. Moon River. What is this Moon River? Is it a river in the moonlight? What is this mirror in the sky? It's so pretty. Like, it's like the Van Gogh painting of words, right? Starry night. You imagine the starry night. You've seen a million starry nights. You've never seen it that way. You've never heard mirror in the sky You've never heard Moon River until you hear those songs, and then it's like you see it. Or it's almost like you see it, but there's a little bit of, or a lot of ambiguity. And the ambiguity makes this song extra beautiful, because one thing I'm going to warn you about, the beauty in a lot of songs is in the ambiguity of them. If I explain this to you at the end and everything will be clear, I will steal the magic of the song from you, which you can never get back. Okay, so I'm going to do something terrible to you right now. So, keep watching, but this is what happens, right? When we go through these songs, some of the magic just dies a little bit, because some of the magic is in the not yet attained, in the potential of the ideas. What is the artist sharing? Not in a philosophical way, because that bores most people, but is there something more special that's hidden? I think that mystery keeps people coming back and listening. But let's keep going. The singer asks, what is love? The eternal question, which perhaps is sung really emotionally, but it's kind of a boring thing to ask. It's been asked a million times, and then we get into interesting lyrics again. Can the child within my heart rise above? I don't know, the child in my heart. If I wrote that lyric, I would feel a little funny saying that, child in my heart, but it works here. But then people would make fun of me, the child in your heart. But then people make fun of me for many reasons. So, and then more interesting lyrics, I think. Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Now this is universal. Everyone, whether they phrase it this way or not, asks this question. And let's keep going. Now this, at some point of the song, you think, okay, this looks like a parent is saying this. And at the time, the author was 27 years old, didn't have children. And again, there's multiple interpretations. There's even the author of the song had interviews where she explained what the song is about, and she was dealing with issues with her father. Her father wanted her to pursue something else. She was not sure if she should keep on pursuing music. At this time that she wrote it, she was really struggling, like having to have like restaurant 9-to-5 jobs, or I don't know what the jobs she had, but basic 9-to-5 jobs just to stay, being able to eat. So this moment of this songwriter, there's a lot of struggle, and I've had this in my life. I'm like, I'm struggling. Should I quit what I'm doing? And in the past, I feel like I actually almost quit, and then a few months later, that things just hit. And actually, it was kind of like that for this songwriter as well, it seems like. But you really self-doubt, and you're like, should I quit? And so they were wrestling with this issue. And the reason I bring this up now is because this song is really beautiful, because it's from the perspective almost of the father. It's not like most songs are written from the perspective of the author. Like, hey, I feel this feeling, and I love this person, and now I'm heartbroken. Okay, this song is written almost like compassionate, deep understanding of what the father is going through, what the fathers and parents go through. They're always worried, what's going to happen to my children? I want the best for my children. They're too stressed out. And look, this right here in verse 2, this is so touching. Imagine the child thinking about the father, and the father thinking, this is the father possibly thinking, well, I'm afraid of changing because I built my life around you, right? And then this would repeat. This is a very catchy, very emotionally rich, and something that connects with the listener. So this repeats in verse 3 as well. It's kind of verse 2 and 3, they have a little bit of a repeating tagline. You see that in red it's tagged so that it's more memorable. It hits the listener a little harder. And then the rest of the text in black is the original text. And so you see the father is like, time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Like, there's no more second chances with other children. Like, he's getting older. This child is the legacy, right? So it's like that parent, like, basically the child at this time was 27 years old. It's 27 if you count pregnancy, 28 years of that parent's life that it's like a tremendous life project, perhaps your biggest life project, and you're like, what's going to happen to this child? This child is struggling, and the child really was stressed out and struggling, right? And the child is struggling, but is still able to feel for the father, perhaps feels even more sad for the father. So it's touching in that way, because it's rarely you get to have this conversation, and it's almost like in real life you don't get to have this conversation. You get to only make a song about it. You never talk to your parents like that, right? It's very awkward. You never get that deep. But this song digs deep and deep and deep and deep. Like there's a lot of depth here, because it's seeing from somebody else's perspective, and really being kind about it, and really being understanding about it, and the humanity of this song overflows everything. And this is almost like a lullaby. It's like a lullaby to us. We're singing along this song, a lullaby to ourselves. Like, yeah, we're all, even if you listen to it when you're a teenager, you're like, yeah, I'm getting older too. And it's so identifiable, and it's just so touching. And the song keeps going. Now the song is almost over, so I'm going to get into the philosophy, the what's beautiful, the biology in a second, because I really wanted to really make something special here, not just be like, here's my reaction. But let's look at the chorus repeated, because the beginning of the song starts with the chorus. If I scroll up, you'll see that, take my love, take it down, I climb the mountain, I turn around. Now it says, I took my love, I took it down. In the end, it says, take my love, take it down. It's phrased differently. It's harder to notice when you're just listening, but when you listen to the actual song, it's phrased in a slightly stronger way. Like, it's almost like saying, take my love, take it down. Almost like telling the father now, take my love, take it down. It's cool. Like, I got it. I'm an adult. I'm going to do my own life. Don't worry. And the lyrics repeat. They're really beautiful lyrics about climbing a mountain and turning around and seeing, well, what did I do? What did I do? What happened? And it all happens, the future always comes too fast. And, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, let the landslide bring it down. If you turn around and still see me, I mean, it's beautiful. It's hard to almost describe it in words. But what I really wanted to do is turn to philosophy now, because this song is so beautiful, and I said the word beautiful so many times in this video that I believe we need a better language for the word beautiful. Because again, we call everything beautiful. Like, here's a flower, it's beautiful. Here's a person, it's beautiful. But those are just examples of some greater idea of what's beautiful. So that's why I wanted to turn to Socratic Dialogues. Don't worry, you don't have to read the dialogues. Usually people are like, philosophy is so boring, but I'm going to take only the beautiful parts. I'm going to take only the interesting and fascinating parts of the Socratic Dialogues, and then we're going to look at the biology, because today we also have biology. We understand science, we understand what happens in our brains and why we get the feels that we do. So here's the Wikipedia page of one of the Socratic Dialogues, which perhaps philosophically is not the highest priority, but for the arts it's one of the higher priority, because there's a dialogue in which Socrates and another character discuss, well, what is beauty? And usually the way these dialogues are structured is, in the beginning they go through the basic answers. Beauty is a beautiful girl. And then they're like, no, it can't be that's just a beautiful girl is just an example of beauty, but what is this higher idea of beauty? And then they go through like, beauty is to be rich and respected. Beauty is that which is appropriate, which, sounds weird, but if you think about it, sort of at least can make sense. And then they get into more sophisticated definitions of what is beautiful. And the beauty of Socratic Dialogues is that they're not really trying to win an argument. They're working together to figure out and strip away the wrong answers and really identify something so abstract, which, to be fair, we still 2,500 years ago struggle with this issue. How do you identify what's beautiful? How do you describe, what is it? Well, I'm going to give you my own attempt at it soon and tie it into this song. But first, the most sophisticated answer that they come up with is beauty is in the pleasure that comes from seeing and hearing. And again, they reject it for a number of reasons, but okay, when we see beauty, when we hear something, it does something to us and suddenly we experience beauty. But even Socrates wasn't satisfied with this, because there's this beauty in the specific things, and then there's the idea of like, well, what is beautiful that we reference? What is this beautiful? And so I wanted to offer a few ideas of how to recreate this language, so that we can use it for the song. So I had a few ideas taking off from Socrates, right? Because hearing beauty and seeing beauty, there's this imagery. And if you've seen my other videos where I dissect, well, how does art give us the feels? Well, we see pictures or we hear words that conjure up images in us that we can reference, right? We recognize them and they inspire certain feelings and ideas and thoughts. And so it takes on a life of its own inside us, inside our minds, right? If you say Moon River, we start to picture it. When we picture it fully, we're like, oh my God, that's beautiful. And it's just words, but it's like poetry is kind of painting images inside our heads, inside our minds with words. But what if we take it, beautiful is that thing which inspires, which you can say about this song. This song is beautiful because it inspires. But then I felt like the definition of inspires is really cheap now, because people do squats on Instagram and show their six-pack and like everybody's like, I'm so inspired. So I feel like that language is a little bit not useful here. We're talking about something else. Well, instead of inspires, how about the song is that which elevates? Okay, it's a little better, but I sort of wanted to keep digging, and I thought maybe uplifts is slightly even better than elevates, and I feel like they could be tied. It depends how you say it or how you think about it. But my definition is the beautiful thing is that thing that elevates and uplifts us. And of course, when we hear the song, because it's so universally appealing, it's beautiful worldwide. All people struggle with the issues brought up in the song, this song elevates and uplifts all of us. And that's why it's so beautiful, perhaps one of the most beautiful songs of the 20th century. And the reason I actually made a point that it's maybe the most beautiful, because in my mind it's competing with some of Bob Dylan's songs, maybe Stairway to Heaven, maybe Moon River, maybe a few songs by Neil Young. Why is this song the one that I'm choosing to be the best one? My argument is that the poetry and the emotional content stays strong throughout the song. Every line, or just about every line, is good poetry. Whereas Stairway to Heaven, it's a song built mostly around this one idea. Heart of Gold by Neil Young, song built around one idea. Most songs are built around one magical and beautiful idea. But this song hits the listener, new idea, new imagery, new ethereal, new potential, new ambiguity, consistently hitting the listener. And because of that, I feel like it has the most staying power in terms of you can listen to the song again and again and again and again perhaps, and it will still have its magic until this video, because we're dissecting it so much that the magic is going to get lost. But very lastly, I want to talk about the biology of what's happening in our brains. Now, when we listen to something that's, let's say, beautiful, and that has this ambiguity, the ambiguity leads us to think that there is more. Scientifically, now we know something that Socrates didn't know, that when you anticipate, you have a dopamine release. You get a little bit of a high, right? If you're waiting for something in the future, you really can't wait, like a kid, can't wait, because you have a dopamine release. Dopamine is essentially called, sometimes referenced as the anticipation molecule. It's just fun to anticipate something in the future. Often you will have these experiences where like the thing itself that we're anticipating is not as great as that experience leading up to it, because that experience, we're almost floating with anticipation. And that's why we have that dopamine in songs with ambiguity, when we really connect and really kind of maybe not cerebrally ask, what is this about? Because most people don't like that cerebral interpretations, but still we feel like there's something more. Dopamine. We're on a dopamine high. That's why these songs send us on a dopamine high. Now, also, because there's such a connection between the artist and the listener, like the listener is literally going like, I identify with this. I feel the same thing. Ooh, I'm getting feelings. There is also this closeness we develop, which also creates this oxytocin release. This is the love hormone, right? We actually bond with the singer, with the performer, which is why you have, the crazy fans who fall in love with like the artist, and the artist is like, I don't know you, and the fan is like, yeah, but I've loved you for years. So this song, I think, because of the strong poetry, because of that performance, when you hear the song, is just amazing, creates this dopamine release, the oxytocin release, and makes us feel beautiful, which it becomes, it's that thing that uplifts us. And so this is one of the most beautiful songs of the 20th century, perhaps even the most beautiful one. And so in this video, I really just wanted to not just give my reaction, but give a real depth to the explanation. I wanted to pull in Socrates and philosophy, and I wanted to bring in biology, and I wanted to tie it all in and make it really special, because this song deserves that, right? Which song deserves that if not this one? So thank you for listening. By the way, I also have a ton of my own original music. Now, of course, it's not like this song, right? This song is too amazing, but I also try to write music that has the same effects as this song does. I try to write great poetry. I try to make it relatable. I try to make it a slice of life and put it all into beautiful melodies. And I do it all so that, just like this song inspires me and many other people, I want to inspire other people as well and connect on that level of beauty, right? Because what other better way is there to connect on if not on the beautiful? So I'll have the links to my playlist of my music in the comments, in the show more. If you checked it out, I appreciate everyone, every single listener, because if somebody listens to my song and connects with it especially, that's special for me. That's why I do it. So again, thank you for watching this video. Thank you in advance for checking out my music, and I'll see you in my next video.